Hi everyone, Alan Schimmel, DevOps.com here at Jenkins World. We're live on the floor and we're very lucky to be joined by Shlomi Ben Haim, CEO of JFrog.
Hello,
Right?
Alan.
We got it. So Shlomi, first of all, Jenkins World is huge this year, almost 2,000 people. But I know you're, what's it in the swamp? The frog in the swamp?
The Swamp Up?
The swamp, yep.
Yeah, our user conference in
Your
Napa.
user conference was also about this size, right? It was pretty big.
No, it was a bit more about the JFrog community. So it's
Yes.
not the open source and the old DevOps CI community. So it was focusing on the JFrog user experience.
Well, we've heard many, many good things
Yes,
about it.
it was awesome. We had 400 people down in Napa, 3 days, great weather, awesome venue. What can go wrong?
Not what could go wrong. But, you know, you mentioned the kind of community and the people we're seeing here. But at the end of the day, these are your people as well.
Right.
I mean, they may not be JFrog community today, but they're potential
Yes.
JFrog community people. And why is that, you think?
Well, first of all, it's an awesome event. Like I'm seeing the Jenkins user conference growing every year.
Yes.
We actually run it together with CloudBiz in Israel. We have
Really?
700 people. Just last July came to the Jenkins user conference in Israel. And the same thing we did in Paris for the first time.
Really?
So our French frogs
Yeah.
in Paris did the Jenkins user conference there. So we are working with CloudBiz for a long time, great partners, awesome success. Congrats to Sasha, KK, and
the whole
the
team.
team. But in JFrog, it's like a glove to hand because part of our philosophy base is to provide a universal solution.
Right.
And when the fork happened, the Hudson and Jenkins, I don't know if you remember, 2010.
I remember.
We actually went with the community. We were the first vendor that said no to Hudson and yes to Jenkins. And we built a very tight integration and very tight relationship with the Jenkins community that still blossom, as you see.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see that there are so many joint users of
there
JFrog
are.
Artifactory and Jenkins.
But you mentioned Artifactory, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So I think a lot of people know JFrog's Artifactory, billions of artifacts in there, tons of users. But I'm going to bet there's a good chunk of our audience who really don't understand what's the need for it, what is it, what is the need for it, why should they, if they don't already, why should they be using it?
Well, it's a very good question because I remember our Series A, trying to raise money, going and pitching a binary solution to VCs. We were throwing out from all the VCs' offices, Silicon Valley, Israel, whatever, because no one really understood why you need to manage binaries. Binaries are something that you just put in a file store. If you are a bit more enterprise level, then you will put it in your version control. Back then, Subversion, today it's Git. But you don't treat binaries as first level citizens. And this is being changed. And why it's being changed? Because we produce binaries like hell. Jenkins is not a developer that sit and write code.
No.
It works 24/7. It produces binaries. You have the giant microservices and containers revolution happening. You need to store these images somewhere, these software artifacts somewhere, and you need the place that can scale with you.
Yeah.
If you will put it in your version control, it will explode because no one can ever clean a version control. So you need to treat binaries as first level citizens, and you need to put them in a place that manage binaries as binaries with a smart proxy to cache local repository. Reason number one, you don't want to have your NPM repository rely on the NPM public repository. You don't want to have your Maven repository rely on the Maven Central or Docker registry rely on the Docker Hub. You want it in-house.
Yep.
You need a solution that can scale with the enormous amount of binaries that you produce a day. And if you think about it, Alan, that's the only thing that goes out of proportion in today's software world. We make more binaries. Yes, we promote only 10% of them, but the 90% should be hosted, distributed, and managed somewhere.
You know, I learned a lesson in the original .com boom. I helped start a company called Interliant. We were an ASP, early ASP. One of the lessons we learned there is what you should outsource and what you should not outsource. And if it's core and critical to your business, you can't outsource it. Most of your customers, most of the people using JFrog, right? Creating binaries is their core critical business, right? They're coding.
Yes.
The storage of them is not, it's critical to their business, but it's not core to their skill set and to the resources. They're not going to put a lot of money into creating that Artifactory. And so this is why it seems to be a perfect reason why.
Right.
Let someone who does this for a living do it, rather than,
Well, we are. There are a lot of names for JFrog. Part of what I heard just here today is that we are the database of DevOps.
Okay, that's a good one.
And we are the binaries people.
Right.
And this is what we do. Before Artifactory and after Bintray, the distribution platform, we don't have any expertise. But in this field of managing your binaries, all the way from hosting them, secure them, distribute them, this is what we do. And we are very focused. And you're right, artifacts today is a very important asset in the DevOps lifecycle.
Well, it has to be, because otherwise you're starting from scratch every time. No, there's no sense reinventing the wheel every time you want to roll.
Exactly.
Let me ask you two questions. First of all, for our audience who may not be familiar, how big is Artifactory? How big is the JFrog?
So we are the provider of 4 different products. JFrog Artifactory is the repository solution. JFrog Bintray is the distribution platform with over 2 billion downloads a month, probably the biggest binary hub in the world. We have JFrog X-Ray, which is a security vulnerability, a health check to your DevOps lifecycle that provide you with a full dependency graph, the only tool in the market. And we have JFrog Mission Control, which is the admin dashboard that sits on top of all of this. So four different products, 250 employees, 5 different offices in Israel, California, France, China, and Spain, and 4,000 customers. We just celebrated last month 4,000 enterprise customers.
And a lot of frogs.
And a lot of frogs, yes. We say in JFrog, once you leap forward, you won't go back. We rely on the community user experience.
But all kidding aside, managing the infrastructure for that operation, I mean, that's the special sauce here, right? I mean, give us an idea if you can. I don't know if it's public. How big is the infrastructure itself to manage all this?
Internally in JFrog or outside?
Both, if you can, whatever you're comfortable with.
So the market has no limits now. Because when you look at the future of DevOps, what's the real pain that we are all here, all the players, what are we trying to solve? We just trying to solve the speed pain. Mm-hmm. Continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment, all of these milestones are important. But the real pain that we are trying to solve is speed. And why? Because of 2 reasons. Number 1, we build software faster. Number 2, we are living in an on-demand, hyper-connected, crazy world that user experience also involved software updates. And this is what JFrog is doing. We want to be your software update machine. We want to be the continuous update, not continuous anything, but continuous update machine. And this is what we call liquid software. It should just flow.
Okay.
And this is huge. You asked about how big it is. If you look at the IoT market, it's just started now.
Scratch the surface.
We are not an IoT company, but we are the enablers of DevOps for IoT because guess what? Binaries. The devices, machines, they speak binaries, not English.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Shlomi, thank you for being with us. I think we're going to have you with a panel, a CEO wrap-up later.
Yes.
We'll have you. But in the meantime, continued success with JFrog.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to come to the next one in Israel, maybe, if I get an invitation.
You are a VIP guest.
I'm kidding. But Shlomi Ben Haim, CEO, JFrog here at Jenkins World. This is Alan Schimmel for DevOps TV and DevOps.com. Have a great day, everyone.